My dear listener, many people carry demons, not the kind you see in movies, but the kind that live in the heart and mind, hidden behind smiles and familiar faces. The question is not if demons are around us, but how do we recognize them when they wear the disguise of friends and family? Because the greatest danger isn't from strangers, it's from those closest to you who subtly try to steal your purpose, your peace, your destiny. These demons don't roar. They whisper doubts, sow confusion, and cripple your vision with subtle poison. You have to become a spiritual detective, alert, discerning, and wise. Because your future depends on who you allow to influence your mind and your life. To spot these destructive spirits, you must first understand the nature of the kingdom and the authority given to you. The enemy never attacks openly. He comes cloaked in love, familiarity, and sometimes even good intent. But remember this, your greatest asset in life is clarity. And clarity comes when you learn to read the spirit behind the words. Have you ever been hurt most deeply by someone you trusted? Maybe it was a friend who suddenly became distant, or a family member who, under the surface, seemed to chip away at your confidence and peace. It's hard to accept, but sometimes the greatest threat to our destiny doesn't come from strangers or enemies far away. It comes from those closest to us. The enemy knows that if he can't attack you openly, he will use the people around you to accomplish his mission. Demons don't always come as fiery monsters. More often, they wear the mask of familiarity. They come disguised as friends, as family members, even as people who claim to love you. They are masters of deception, hiding their true intentions beneath layers of smiles, good advice, and sometimes even sympathy. The Bible teaches us that the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. Genesis 3:1. The serpent didn't attack Adam and Eve with a sword or a roar. It whispered, it questioned, it sowed seeds of doubt. It came disguised as a friend, and that's why its attack was so effective. The principle here is clear. Spiritual attack often comes in disguise, wrapped in familiarity, and that's why it is so dangerous. When those around you begin to challenge your God-given purpose, undermine your faith, or twist your understanding of your identity, you have to ask yourself, are these truly friends or family? Or are they vessels through which a hidden enemy is working? Think about a garden. Every gardener knows that some of the most dangerous threats to a flourishing garden aren't large animals or storms, but the weeds growing quietly among the plants. At first, those weeds might look harmless or even beautiful, but they suck the nutrients from the soil, steal the water, and slowly choke the life out of the plants. You don't uproot the entire garden just because a few weeds are growing, but if you ignore them, they will take over. In the same way, toxic influences in your life often blend in so well that you don't see the damage until it's too late. You need to become skilled at recognizing the weeds disguised as flowers. Ask yourself, when someone close to you speaks words that cause confusion or self-doubt, what is their real intent? Are they helping you grow or holding you back? Are they encouraging you to fulfill your purpose, or are they quietly sabotaging your dreams? The enemy's goal is to steal your vision and keep you bound in limitation. And he uses people to accomplish that. That's why spiritual discernment is essential. It's not enough to simply assume that because someone is related to you or calls themselves your friend, their influence is good for your life. The heart is deceitful above all things. Jeremiah 17:9. And even those closest to you can harbor hidden agendas. sometimes without even realizing it. This is a challenging truth, but it's one you cannot ignore if you want to walk in your purpose. You have been given authority over every force that tries to steal, kill, or destroy your destiny. But authority begins with awareness. You must become alert to the spirit behind the words and actions of those around you. When you notice subtle patterns of criticism that aren't constructive, or repeated discouragement that doesn't come with love or solutions, you have to pause and consider, who is really speaking through this person? Is it a spirit of encouragement or a spirit of limitation? Is this a voice that aligns with kingdom principles or one that feeds fear and doubt? Remember, recognizing these hidden attacks is not about rejecting people, but about protecting what God has placed inside of you. It's about setting boundaries that preserve your spiritual health and keep you on track toward the destiny you were created to fulfill. The enemy's disguise is convincing, but your clarity and discernment are stronger weapons. Don't allow familiarity to blind you. Instead, use wisdom and spiritual insight to see through the masks and protect your life's calling. Your life is too valuable to be dictated by disguised demons in the clothing of friends and family. When the enemy wants to attack your destiny, he doesn't always come with a blatant, loud assault. Instead, he uses tactics that are subtle, insidious, and difficult to detect. One of his favorite weapons is doubt. Doubt is like a fog that creeps into your mind, clouding your vision and blurring the clear path God has set before you. It's not enough for him to simply stop you. He wants to convince you that your purpose is unreachable, that you are not worthy, capable, or chosen. Doubt slowly seeps in through the voices of those around you, especially when they come from people you trust, friends or family who may unknowingly or intentionally plant seeds of discouragement and confusion. The Bible teaches us that without faith, it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11:6. Faith is the foundation for every step you take toward your destiny. When doubt takes hold, faith weakens. It becomes harder to believe in the promises God has spoken over your life. The enemy's goal is to attack your faith, to make you question not only your ability, but God's faithfulness. When doubt takes root, it chokes the life out of your potential, just like a vine wrapping tightly around a tree, restricting its growth until the tree struggles to breathe and bear fruit. Imagine a soldier preparing for battle. If that soldier starts doubting their weapons, their training, or their mission, their effectiveness will be compromised. Doubt becomes a silent enemy on the battlefield of your mind, eroding confidence and readiness. You can have the greatest vision and the strongest calling, but if doubt infiltrates your heart through discouragement, you will hesitate, retreat, and miss your opportunity. And here is the most dangerous part. Doubt often comes disguised in words that sound like concern or advice. Are you sure you can do that? Maybe you're aiming too high. What if it doesn't work out? These questions are not innocent. They are spiritual attacks dressed as friendly caution. Ask yourself, when someone close to you questions your dreams or diminishes your enthusiasm, what spirit are they carrying? Are they truly being protective, or are they feeding your fears? Are they helping you grow, or are they limiting you? Discouragement is not just a feeling, it is a tactic designed to keep you small, to prevent you from stepping into the fullness of your calling. When you hear words that cause you to doubt, who do they really serve? Do those words align with God's truth about your life, or are they echoes of the enemy's lie? Think about a young plant struggling to break through the soil. If the soil above is compacted and heavy, the plant cannot grow. Doubt is like that heavy soil. It presses down on your spirit, making it difficult to rise. You have to loosen that soil with faith, with truth, and with the authority God has given you. You must push through every discouraging word and every doubtful thought with the declaration that you were created for greatness. The enemy's plan is to keep you buried beneath uncertainty and fear, but your purpose is a seed that cannot be stopped from breaking through if you refuse to give in. You were designed for a divine assignment, and no voice, no matter how close or familiar, has the right to make you feel less than what God has declared you to be. Doubt is a thief that comes to steal your confidence, kill your momentum, and destroy your peace. But the kingdom you represent is built on faith, hope, and unwavering belief in God's promises. When you face words that cause confusion or make you question your path, remember, these are not just casual remarks. They are spiritual battles. You have to fight with faith, speak truth over your life, and reject every lie that comes to weaken your resolve. Your purpose is too important to be undermined by doubt planted through discouragement. Stand firm, know your identity, and walk boldly, because faith will always overcome doubt when you choose to believe who God says you are. To walk confidently in your purpose, you must understand that not everyone who speaks into your life carries the right spirit. Spiritual discernment is not just a skill for pastors or prophets. It is a necessity for anyone serious about protecting their destiny. You see, the world is full of voices, advice, and opinions, but not all of them come from a place of truth or alignment with your God-given assignment. Without discernment, you become vulnerable to deception, confusion, and manipulation, especially from those closest to you. The difference between walking in clarity and stumbling in darkness often comes down to the ability to discern the spirit behind the words. Think about a pilot flying through dense clouds. Without instruments to guide them, the pilot can easily lose direction, veer off course, and crash. Instruments provide clarity in uncertainty. They allow the pilot to see beyond what the eyes can naturally perceive. Spiritual discernment functions in your life like those instruments. It helps you see beyond surface appearances and understand the true nature of what you are encountering. You cannot rely solely on feelings or the words spoken. You must learn to read the atmosphere, the spirit behind the message. Is it life-giving or draining? Does it build up or tear down? Does it align with kingdom principles or contradict them? Ask yourself, when you hear criticism or advice, do you instinctively accept it, or do you pause to evaluate where it's coming from? Is the spirit behind that person's words rooted in love, truth, and a desire to see you grow, or is it clouded by envy, fear, or control? This kind of discernment requires spiritual maturity and sensitivity to God's voice. It requires you to be in tune with your spirit so that you can sense when something is off, even if you don't yet understand why. Imagine a gardener who tends a vast garden filled with many different plants. Some plants grow healthy and strong, but some come with hidden pests that threaten the whole garden. A good gardener doesn't wait until the plants are dying to act. They watch closely, they identify threats early, and they remove what harms the garden. If you consider your life as a garden, spiritual discernment is the tool you use to protect your growth. You must be vigilant to identify what's beneficial and what's toxic, especially when the threats come from familiar soil. Discernment also helps you distinguish between constructive criticism and destructive words. True friends and mentors offer correction that comes with love and a desire to build you up, even if it challenges you. But there are voices that bring correction mixed with bitterness, jealousy, or a desire to control. These voices confuse and paralyze. They cause you to question your value and question God's plan for you. Do you know how to tell the difference? Have you learned to listen not only to the words, but to the heart and the fruit they produce? You have authority over your mind and spirit. That authority is empowered by discernment. Without it, you risk accepting lies that limit your destiny. The enemy loves to use familiar voices to spread misinformation because it's harder to reject someone you trust. But discernment is a guardrail. It keeps you on the path of truth, even when distractions and doubts come like storms. Imagine walking through a crowded marketplace where hundreds of people shout competing messages. How do you decide which voice to follow? Do you listen to the loudest voice, the most convincing, or do you rely on a trusted guide who knows the way? Spiritual discernment is that trusted guide. It helps you filter through noise and confusion to find the path God has laid out for you. So what are you doing to develop this spiritual sensitivity? Are you seeking God's guidance daily? Are you spending time in prayer, meditation, and studying His Word to sharpen your inner ear? Remember, discernment grows as you grow in your relationship with God. The clearer your connection, the easier it becomes to identify the spirits influencing your life, whether they come disguised as well-meaning friends or family. Without discernment, you are vulnerable to manipulation and deception. With discernment, you become a warrior who can walk through any situation with clarity, confidence, and authority. Your destiny depends on your ability to see beyond appearances and hear the spirit behind the words. Clarity is the foundation of authority, and discernment is the lens that brings it into focus. Clarity is one of the most powerful gifts you can possess on your journey toward fulfilling your purpose. Without clarity, confusion takes root, decisions become muddled, and your path grows uncertain. The enemy thrives in the darkness of confusion because it keeps you stuck, hesitant, and vulnerable to deception. But when you learn to see clearly, when you learn to read the spirit behind words and actions, you step into a place of strength and authority that no disguised attack can undermine. Clarity is more than just understanding facts. It's about perceiving the deeper reality beneath the surface. In Proverbs 4:7 we read, "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." Wisdom and understanding lead to clarity. They help you cut through the noise and distractions, revealing the truth about people, situations, and even your own heart. When you operate with clarity, you no longer accept things at face value. You begin to discern motives, recognize patterns, and see the unseen influences that affect your life. Consider a lighthouse guiding ships safely through a stormy sea. The storm may be fierce, the waves high, and the night dark, but the light cuts through the chaos, providing a fixed point of reference for navigation. Clarity is like that lighthouse. In the storm of confusion, doubts, and conflicting voices, clarity helps you navigate safely toward your destiny. Without it, you risk running aground on hidden rocks, or worse, drifting endlessly without direction. Ask yourself, how often do you take time to reflect and seek clarity before reacting to difficult situations or words? Do you find yourself quick to believe what people say, or do you pause to ask, what is really behind this message? Sometimes the same words can come from very different spirits, one encouraging and life-giving, another manipulative and limiting. The ability to read beyond the words is what separates those who succeed from those who remain trapped in cycles of confusion and frustration. Think about a detective solving a complex case. The detective doesn't just rely on what is obvious. They look for hidden clues, motives, and inconsistencies. They ask questions that reveal the truth beneath appearances. Spiritual clarity requires a similar approach. You must develop the habit of asking deep questions. Why is this person really saying this? What do they hope to achieve? Does this align with what God has shown me about my life? These questions help you see past the mask and into the heart of the matter. When you lack clarity, you become vulnerable to manipulation, doubt, and fear. The enemy loves to throw smoke and mirrors, to confuse your thinking and cloud your judgment. But when clarity is present, you have a powerful shield. It helps you set boundaries, make wise decisions, and maintain peace of mind, even in difficult relationships. Clarity empowers you to separate truth from lies, encouragement from criticism, and love from control. Your clarity comes from cultivating a close relationship with God, who is the source of all truth. Spending time in prayer, reading scripture, and listening for his voice sharpens your spiritual vision. You begin to see the difference between the kingdom culture and the culture of limitation around you. This vision allows you to recognize disguised attacks for what they are and to reject anything that threatens your purpose. Imagine trying to read a map in the dark without a flashlight. You stumble, misread directions, and risk getting lost. But when you turn on the light, the path becomes clear. Obstacles are visible, and your confidence grows. Spiritual clarity is that light. It reveals the hidden motives, the subtle lies, and the disguised demons that try to steer you away from your calling. The question is, will you seek clarity or will you allow confusion to rule your life? Will you train yourself to see beyond the obvious, to read the spirit behind the words, and to hold fast to the truth God has placed inside you? The choice is yours. Clarity is not a destination, but a discipline. A daily commitment to seeking wisdom and understanding so you can walk boldly in the authority you have been given. Your purpose deserves your clarity. Don't settle for less. As you step forward from today, remember that your journey toward fulfilling your destiny demands vigilance, faith, and wisdom. The voices around you, no matter how familiar, can either build you up or tear you down. Learn to discern the spirit behind every word. Refuse doubt disguised as concern, and guard your clarity fiercely. Your life is too precious, your purpose too important to be compromised by hidden attacks. Stand firm in the authority and clarity God has given you and walk boldly into the future he has prepared. Thank you for your time and your commitment to embracing truth and purpose. I wish you all the strength and clarity you need as you move forward. Good luck on your journey.